Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie Man, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about the final episode of Spice and Wolf, the remake. The final episode just aired today, episode 25, and I got a lot of things to say, especially towards that ending and what the meaning of this is towards the future of the series as a whole. And I'll give you guys also my overall thoughts about what I thought about this adaptation and this final climax to the first season of hopefully many more. Wink, wink, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Spice and Wolf content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this final episode of Spice and Wolf. So, the episode starts off right where we see last time, where we see Lawrence and the rest of the gang, how they're, escaping through the tunnels, and how they, they're going back to the city, so they went the same way. Eventually, they get back to the church, and as soon as they get in there, it's like, okay, let's try to fix everything. And we see right off the get-go, as soon as they look out the window, they see that the church from Emberg, the priest and all that, he is, pretty much, hackling the people of the town, the village. And he's just like, yeah, you guys are, I'm gonna declare you guys a page in town. You guys are gonna go, like, you guys are gonna be screwed over. And you see they even throw like the symbol of their, their god, which is the snake deity that they have, True You, I think that's the name of it. They throw it in the floor, and they're just, they're like, yeah, you guys are screwed. Eventually, you see pretty much Lawrence and Elsa and the, Hollow and Evan, they all pull up. Man, they pulled up like, if for any One Piece fans, they pulled up like, the Straw Hats pulling up to Arlong Park, They all pulled up, they walk in style, the Avengers assembled right here. And they went in there and they pretty much confront the priest. And they pretty much say like, hey man, you're wrong. This is not right for you guys to do this. And you see Elsa step up to the, the priest. And the bishop, he's not a priest, he's a bishop. I forgot the rankings now. But he goes up to the bishop, like, hey, listen, our village has been fine. Like this church that the church my father left behind, it's a genuine church, and I'll show you through miracles if you don't believe me. And as she's talking about like this snake deity, that was one of God's creations. Like whether it exists or not, it doesn't matter. And as we see Elsa continue to talk to the bishop, eventually they have the bishop's like, okay, well, show me a blessing. Like if you really that confident, show me a blessing, and I'll forgive you guys. And we see that pretty much Elsa, she tells Evan like, hey, go on top of this cart where the wheat is, and then you see the wheat beginning to grow at a tremendous pace. And we know that obviously this is Hollow's doing, but obviously the people, the villagers, and the bishop and everybody's like, oh my God, it's a sign from God. And they're bowing down, and as they're bowing down, you see that pretty much the bishop's like, there ain't no way, this is impossible, there's no way. And we see that Elsa's like, okay, would you make this chalice that I have, would you holy it, would you bless it, so you can baptize Evan and prove that he, from my understanding, prove that he's not like any malicious evil or anything like that. So he blesses the chalice. Eventually Evan fills it up with flour, and he progresses to drink it. And my understanding from this was that it was supposed to show that he's not being like, there's nothing unholy about him. That's my guessing on it. I don't know, but I know it was something about baptizing and all that. But if anybody knows the exact details on it, please comment it in the comment section down below, because I don't want to misinterpret anything regarding that scene. But what we see after that is that eventually the priest is like, all right, you guys are fine, I guess I'll let you guys slide. And you see that pretty much everybody's like, yay. And also we find out in this episode that the guy that screwed up with the wheat and all that was blaming Lawrence and them, it was the guy that originally, in the first episode of the arc, the guy that, during when Lawrence was trying to sell some wheat, the big fat guy, you find out that he was the mole. He was the one that's setting all these plans in motion. And we see that Lawrence is like, yeah, I'm not gonna let this guy get away with it. And as he goes and, he goes talks business, man. Like my man just goes up and he's like, hey, long time no see, how you been? It's like, oh man. And then you see the guy sweating because he knows he's screwed, because Lawrence, he goes full grind set. And even Hollow's like, oh, you must be a real wolf, the way that you're gonna go about this whole situation. And Lawrence just pulls his fangs like, hey, listen, how about we renegotiate the dealings between this village and Emberg? It's like, okay, well, no problem. So it's like, how much did you sell the wheat for? It's like, oh, I think it was 200,000. I believe it was 200,000 or something like that, or 200. Yeah, I think it was 200,000. And he's like, oh yeah, that won't do, because it's not the same quality, obviously. And you see somebody's like, and he's like, okay, I'll sell it for, I'll I'll reimburse you, or I think he's like, I'll let you guys pay me back for the wheat that we're supposed to pay you back. The one that went all bad. I'll let you guys pay me back 195,000. I'll give you guys a discount. And you see one of the villagers like, how dare you? Like, we can't even use this wheat. Eventually, Lawrence, through his finesse, he's able to bring the price all the way to 140, which thankfully after that, he's able to bring everything down, like I said. And after that, we see that pretty much the rest of the episode is just consisting of, Lawrence, Evan, and Elsa just kind of having a victory lap to themselves. Like, yeah, we helped the village. And we also see that Lawrence was able to break the Father Francis contract, so now the village is no longer being held back by the negotiations between these two, Emberg and this town. So now they can actually spread through other towns. And we see that, Lawrence has this brilliant plan of, using the wheat that they have, and not selling bread necessarily. Instead, they're going to be selling biscuits, and these biscuits are delicacies and like rare in this section of the country. So, while Lawrence knows about this food from other places that he's visited because he's a traveler, these people around the area, they don't know about this delicacy. So they're making biscuits and everybody's loving them, and therefore they're able to eventually pay back their debt, the 140 coins. They're able to pay it back, and eventually they'll be fine. So that's all good, and it's all good, thankfully. And what happens after that is we see that pretty much, like I said, they're having a victory lap. They're just chilling, they're enjoying themselves, at the end they're eating their biscuits. Holo is just reading her book, everything's great, they won. And you see that Elsa, Holo and Lawrence are ready to leave. We see that Elsa's like, hey, Holo, you have like very powerful, like godlike powers. That's crazy, but just so you know, our snake deity, Troyu, she also has like, I'm sure that she could be as powerful as you with her miracles. And even our god, the one that created them, is even more better than them. Like, and that was my understanding of the scene. It's more like, yeah, you know what, you guys might be like gods, but somebody must have created you guys. So therefore, there's a higher power. So she still has her fate, and she still keeps her fate. She's not just aligned to one only god, but she knows that there's other gods as well. So it doesn't conflict her interests. She realizes like she's not blind, is what I'm trying to get at. She's not just blinded by her religion. She knows the understandings of, she can go and, believe in these gods, but also knows that the true God is on top of them. From my understanding, that's my understanding. I could be wrong. But how the episode ends is, they eventually, Lawrence and Holo, they get on the cart and they go off, man. Like they go in their separate ways. They travel together. And you have this nice scene where, everybody's waving in the village. It's very emotional. And you see just Lawrence, like, hey, travelers don't leave. What does he say exactly? It's like, there's no such thing as bad memories with travelers. There's only good experiences, or something like that. So, it was a nice way to say goodbye. And I'm sure they'll come back, because we see Elsa, like, bless them. And I'm sure that she's going to play back later in the story, because I'll get to the ending, which is you see Holo and Lawrence just chilling together, and it's very wholesome. They're just talking, and he's like, well, I guess we're gonna hang out for a little while, aren't we? And it's like, yeah. And then you see Holo eventually lay on Lawrence's shoulders, and it's a very nice scene. They just ride off to the sunset, and as the credits roll, then we get a little post-credit scene of the continuation of what the first scene of this season was, which is Holo talking to a little girl. And we see that pretty much Holo's like, yeah, there's plenty of story to tell from here. So it pretty much ends off in a way that, yeah, we're gonna have more material. And they even confirmed it. I believe when the studio made a statement out in the website, it's like, yeah, season 2 has been confirmed. I'm just so glad they're working on it, because I love this series, and I'm glad that they did such an amazing job in this adaptation. I loved it. I think this adaptation was phenomenal. It's better than the original, in my opinion. That's just my take, because they adapted more content and just the animation's better. I mean, times changed. But yeah, I just thought it was great just seeing everything being fully adapted, and I can't wait to see how the story continues to be adapted in farther seasons, because going forward, I think I only know one arc going forward from the original anime, and from there on, everything I'm going in blindly. I don't know anything, and I'm very excited to see where the story takes us. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this final episode of Spice and Wolf? Did you guys love the remake? Did you guys thought it was overrated? Did you guys hate it? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Spice and Wolf, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.